かってるかな。銀で囲って、あ、待ってるね、のりかは。船乗るな。ああ、本当だ。
Spills through crooked blinds, vinyl hums in halftime sighs. Bare feet on the kitchen tile, you laugh like it's the end of time. I pour 2 cups, forget which's mine. The breeze forgets where it's been. Your shadow dances on the line between the now and might have been. No rush, no clock, just sugar slow. Your glance says more than you might know. And it melts, melts, melts like ice on the side of your glass. All the weight I used to hold slips quiet through the cracks. You don't ask, I don't speak, still I find exactly what I lack. Ceiling fan spins lazy thoughts. You trace the air with fingertips. Even silence here is soft, like sea foam brushed across the lips. You tilt your head, the sky turns pale. No need for words to set the sail. And it fades, fades, fades like salt in the corner of smiles. All the noise I used to chase feels distant by 1,000 miles. You don't move, I don't breathe, still I'm calm for the first time in a while. Maybe peace was never loud, not a storm, but a low tide sound. No spark, no fire, just skin and cloud. A kind of joy that won't be found if you're always looking out. So I drift, drift, drift like steam from your coffee cup. All the plans I stack so high turn into leaves and float right up. You don't hold, I don't run, still it feels like I'm waking up.